Did you hear the news? Ben Shapiro has obliterated Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson for her baffling remarks about Caitlin Clark.
Bizarre controversies of the last week is Caitlin Clark, who is the WNBA's only nameable star. Here, for example, is WNBA team owner Sheila Johnson. Here she is, ripping Caitlin Clark and the fan base for liking Caitlin Clark, saying it's only because Caitlin Clark is white.
That's right, in a move that feels like the Olympic gold medal in bad takes. Sheila has suggested that Clark didn't deserve to be named Time Magazine Athlete of the Year because apparently everyone in the WNBA should be celebrated except Caitlin Clark.
They have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have. Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings. And so now you're starting to hear stories of racism within the WNBA, and I don't want to hear that. We have got to operate and become stronger as a league and respect everybody that's playing.
Yes, you hear that right. This is everybody gets a trophy energy, but on steroids. Shapiro was quick to dismantle Johnson's argument in his unmistakable rapid-fire delivery by pointing out the glaring absurdity.
Entire WNBA on the cover because not everybody can fit and nobody knows who any of those people are. By the way, 31% apparently of the entire Washington Mystics ticket sales this year came in 2 games. I will give you a guess as to which player was featured in those 2 games.
That's correct. Not everybody can fit inside the frame, and certainly not the whole of WNBA. As for the upliftment, 31% of Washington Mystics' yearly income has come from playing Caitlin Clark and her team, so are just supposed to ignore that Caitlin Clark is revitalizing an entire league struggling for relevancy.
I'm going to be completely honest about this. I thought what Wizards owner Sheila Johnson said about Caitlin Clark is racist. Sheila Johnson is the black billionaire owner of the NHL's Washington Capitals, the NBA's Washington Wizards, and the WNBA's Washington Mystics. Johnson said she did not agree with Time Magazine making Caitlin Clark the first ever WNBA player to be Athlete of the Year.
Sheila's suggestion that Clark's success is somehow unfair to the rest of the league reeks of racism, believe it or not.
With putting Caitlin Clark on the cover. Johnson said the entire WNBA should have been chosen as the League of the Year and that numerous stars should have been put on the cover. She said the WNBA has a long legacy of black stars and that, and I quote, something clicked with the WNBA last year because of the draft. It's not just Caitlin Clark, it's Reese, as in, of course, Chicago's Angel Reese.
Are you kidding me? Angel Reese isn't anywhere near Caitlin Clark both in terms of skills and popularity. Then why is Sheila so keen on watering down Clark's success?
Said, and I quote, there's so much talent out there that's unrecognized, and I don't think we can pin it on just one player. When you single out one, it creates hard feelings, end of quote. Johnson said what's been happening to black players on social media, and I quote, has got to stop, and that, and I quote again, this division of racism is going to tear us apart in.
So are we going to stop praising a player just because others are getting jealous? That doesn't sound right, does it? This is called unfair treatment, Sheila.
Saying to me, the majority of WNBA players are black and have always been black, that basketball belongs more to players than to white, and that it's not healthy for the league to have a white player featured as Athlete of the Year on the cover of Time. Now, I'm pretty sure if WNBA MVP A'ja Wilson had made the cover of Time as Athlete of the Year, Johnson wouldn't have had any problem with that. Just not the white girl.
That's 100% correct. She is suggesting that we become selective in our praise and see the color of a person's skin before appreciating her game. This is ridiculous on so many levels.
Person put this on as a quote to this video. Sheila Johnson's worth $850 million, and she doesn't put a penny back into the neighborhood she comes from. Very interesting. She doesn't even come back to her high school to show little black girls that they can become her. My little cousins go to the same high school. They don't even know she exists. Very interesting indeed.
Did you hear that it seems that Sheila is actually guilty of the same thing she's trying to pull on Caitlin Clark? That's right, guys. Sheila supposedly doesn't do charity, nor does she encourage the black kids in her neighborhood to be billionaires like herself. This is hypocrisy at its finest, people.
league has always been woke, has always had an agenda. The league and the sports media, the establishment sports media that is, and their surrogates. Always. And they pride themselves on that.
WNBA is at its core a politically charged organization, whether you like it or not, and this is why such divisible politics is being played out.
Since Caitlin Clark stepped into the waters with the Time magazine interview, it's almost like you're going to see more people, more comments, more demands. You're going to see it's going to be less and less about basketball, what you want to see. And it's going to be a whole lot of this stuff because it's like she ripped off another layer of the onion. And this one is a big one. And so now people feel like they can just go all in with.
This is exactly why Sheila is speaking out against Caitlin Clark, because she, like many of the so-called woke people, has sensed that Clark is bending over backward in front of them and not fighting for her success.
This, of course, is the Mystics owner that said that Caitlin Clark should give up her Time magazine award and give it to the entire WNBA. Of course, that has now become a running joke, and the mother of all community checks came down here and nailed her. 31% of Mystics' total home attendance for the 2024 season came from the two games versus Caitlin Clark and the Fever.
Sheila sports thrive on competition, not equality of outcomes. Saying Clark doesn't deserve to be singled out is exactly like saying LeBron James should share his accolades with the benchwarmers, because, well, team effort, that's not how greatness works.
That we say, you know what, you want to go all in? You want to go in, people with a lot of nonsense? Then guess what? We're going to go in too, and we're going to expose the nonsense.
Caitlin Clark is a stodgy mythical juggernaut and a cultural phenomenon. She's not just good, she's the best, and the numbers back it up.
What it is. A lot of times, like you, we just want to let's just play basketball. But then when they start saying nonsense, like when the owner of a WNBA team, Sheila Johnson, Washington Mystics, when she says some of the stuff like she said that people are talking about today, it's like, okay, you want to play hardball? Then let's play.
The league didn't see a surge in viewership because fans were dying to watch middle-of-the-road players they tuned in for her.
That skinny white girl was the best thing that ever happened to the WNBA. She's already the most exciting and entertaining player in the league, the entire league, the one you can't take your eyes off of.
Well, it seems like Sheila is getting roasted left, right, and center for her wacky and distasteful comments on Caitlin Clark, and this time it is Skip Biss's turn.
Did Caitlin Clark complain about the bullying or the cheap shotting? Not once did she say anything but the right thing about how Black Stars had built this league. The skinny white girl detonated all that. Yes, she brought a lot more white people through the turnstiles, but surely Sheila Johnson doesn't care what color her customers are, does she?
And the WNBA's third biggest crowd of the year. That's correct, Skip, is letting Sheila have it by exposing her underhanded tactics which benefit from Caitlin and not giving her props in return.
The ultimate irony about what Sheila Johnson said about Caitlin Clark. Last season, for Caitlin Clark's 2 visits to Washington, the Mystics moved the games from their little home arena, which seats a little under 5,000, to the Wizards Arena, which officially seats 20,356. And thanks to Caitlin Clark, Sheila Johnson's Mystics drew the WNBA's biggest crowd of the year and the WNBA's third biggest crowd of the year.
Well, it is clear that Sheila Johnson is being ungrateful here because Clark has uplifted the entire league, and that includes Sheila's team as well.
We saw Sheila Johnson, the odd, weird, whatever you want to call, very rich because, well, she married well, divorced him, and then started stooping the divorce judge with her $500 haircut, her necklaces, her pantsuit. Oh, my God. Talking about how Caitlin Clark shouldn't have been on the cover of Time magazine. Should have been the whole league.
That's correct. Clark deserves all the spotlight as well as the accolades she's been getting.
Big fan of Sheila Johnson. I know Sheila very well. She is a great role model, leader, owner, a terrific, successful, wonderful person. I have no idea why she said what she said. It is of course, the player, the athlete of the year, and it's not the league of the year or the team of the year. Caitlin Clark deserves that.
Of the WNBA, the commissioner of the WNBA said, look, let's help these ladies out. Let's give them a place to play. So it's the worst business decision ever. If you watch Yellowstone, selling the land for $1.25 per acre, not a great land deal. Where the worst business deal in the history of business deals is the NBA supporting the WNBA. That's who made the league. The women, the African-American or white, doesn't matter. Women of the WNBA didn't make shit. Nothing. Zip. Zero. And Sheila Johnson knows that.